In this video, we're going to talk about the Therafin Corporation, all of the various wheelchair seating and positioning products, as well as where they've come from, who they are, and this latest innovation trend. G'day Todd, nice to see you.
Good to be here.
So tell me about Therafin Corporation. How did it all begin and where are you guys up to today?
Yeah, Therafin Corporation started in 1968 by my father, who just had a passion to help people. He was an occupational therapist and he was traveling around the world looking for needs in rehab centers and so forth, and then he just started creating those products. Actually in our garage in California in 1968.
This is a real startup story.
Oh, a real startup story.
And you grew up with this, right?
I did. I grew up with him, making, creating, having fun. He was a lot of fun kind of guy. So I also grew up around this handicapped community also.
And look, I met you a couple of years ago, and the one thing that I really think of when I think of you is this kind of inventor. You guys are constantly coming up with new things. Tell me about this kind of new trend towards innovation.
We we've always been innovative.
Of course,
but what we've tried to do now is sort of take that beyond the normal walls of wheelchairs. And yes, we use that in Therafin for our wheelchair accessories, seating and positioning stuff, but we're also going beyond. We're doing education stuff. We're doing adaptive sports stuff. We're doing all sorts of fun gizmos that we're running into now.
So let's start by covering the basics. Tell me about the wheelchair seating and positioning stuff that you guys do.
We do many, many different items for a high-end rehab chair. Anything from head to toe that somebody that is confined to a wheelchair may need to be seated properly and to really have a life that they can be fairly independent.
And I know that you do a lot of stuff that arguably I can buy and snap onto a chair, kind of one size fits all to some extent, but also you do highly tailored things. Tell me about those.
Yes, we do also make many, many custom seating systems, one at a time. Many have their names on it, but they're different shapes, different sizes, different colors, different foams, different widths. They attach to the wheelchair different ways, all to really meet the need of that individual. We also do that in wheelchair trays, in things that hold feet for the rehab chair.
And one thing when we were starting to talk about this that I didn't know, when you get a wheelchair, it actually doesn't come with everything you need. You need to attach things to it. I know you've got some transfer boards as well as some things that position electronics devices. What are they about?
Oh yes, we have many, many different ways to hold electronic devices, iPads, iPhones, Android devices that can be mounted on a wheelchair, but really they could be mounted in a car, on a table at home, anywhere to hold your electronics device in an appropriate height, easy to use kind of way.
We were talking about this, so beyond disabled products and positioning products, you're now moving into products for the elderly, products for seniors, special needs products. We were talking about my grandma who has an issue holding her iPad long enough to have a kind of a FaceTime session. What have you done to solve that problem?
Well, you know, we have a grandson who lives 800 miles away and he loves to talk on FaceTime. So my wife and I are getting a little old and we can't hold the iPad up very long. So we created a little device that sort of sticks on our table, holds our iPad up so we can have this wonderful conversation with my grandson. And our arms don't get tired. So it's a lot of fun.
And beyond even special needs products and so on, you're doing some stuff in education. Tell me about the paper taker. What is that?
Yeah, again, we are always looking for problems because we love to solve problems. And my wife is a former teacher, and she had tons of problems getting her students to turn in their papers. There was always one or two stragglers.
Right.
And then also she'd have to grade papers and put them in a grade book. And she would have to alphabetize. So we created a product that allows her to ask her students to come in and say, turn in your papers. She can scan and say, hey, Billy, please turn in your paper, because Billy's the only one that didn't.
Right.
And then she just grabs them and they're automatically alphabetized.
That sounds like that would be a huge time saver for
Oh,
teachers.
absolutely. We figured it saved her between 30 and 40 minutes a night.
Really?
Yep.
That's time you should definitely take back.
Yep.
There you have it, everybody. For those who haven't met the Therafin Corporation before, a sense of who they are, who we are, where we come from, and the sorts of things that we focus on. For those of you who'd like to find out more, please visit us online at therafin.com or therafininnovation.com for those newer products, or Star Home Healthcare for our entire range online available for sale.